Hey guys, what's up? Matt with Limitless Fitness. Alright, so I just wanted to kind of take this video, take some time to kind of explain a little bit more about myself, who I am, my passions, my desires. I just told you guys a couple days ago about Be Impossible, and I'm so pumped still about that video. It's still such an important mantra, and I believe always will be in my life. So, kind of some, I guess, history about me. I have grown up and have lived my whole life in Ohio, southeastern specifically, and then I went to high school down there. Like I said, when I was a senior in high school, I was diagnosed with what's called Ewing sarcoma. It's a type of bone cancer in my right ankle, and I was amputated due to that. And after all of that treatment and everything, I have decided to come to pharmacy school. So I'm now in pharmacy school at Ohio Northern University, Northwest Ohio, so the kind of opposite corner of the state. And I am in my fourth year now, out of six total, so coming in on the close. We actually are only in classes for 5 years, and then we spent our whole last year like doing like kind of mini apprenticeships in all kinds of different pharmacies and stuff. So really only like 1 year left of like solid, strict, nose to the grindstone schoolwork, and so I'm super pumped about that. School is difficult. I am not a incredibly book smart person. I've always been more like practically smart, I guess, if that's the term you want to use. I do a lot better with hands-on learning. I do a lot better with like being out in the field, adapting, changing to certain just conditions. And I think a lot of that actually kind of comes from me being an amputee. I have to adapt to certain things every single day of my life. So I think it's something that your mind and your brain just become really good at as time goes on. But really kind of where I am right now with wanting to start this channel, everything it's about, really, like I've said in the past, I kind of want to take this in more of a motivation direction right now than just a fitness direction. Now that being said, I am super huge into fitness, and I have been for really about a year now, but I haven't actually started like really learning about it and really taking command of it until about the past like 6 months or so. And really what kind of triggered all this for me was me completing that like ultimate goal I've had for 5 years now, which was to complete a half marathon as an amputee. And that I completed in October at the Columbus Half Marathon that supports Nationwide Children's Hospital in Columbus. And so something about that race, crossing that finish line, meeting that goal that, I basically had kind of thought was impossible for a really long time, was life-changing to me. And I realized, it helped me realize that, I have a lot of strength. I've been blessed in a way to develop a lot of strength through the trials that I've come through. And so I want to be able to take that kind of gift and those attributes I've been given and been able to develop and kind of help pass them on to other people and help other people get that same kind of gift and skill. Now, I'm not trying to like brag here and say that I have all the answers, because I definitely do not, and I'm not going to say I'm the strongest, person in the world. I just, I feel like I've been able to develop a lot of perspective for things, and I want to be able to, help people, kind of motivate them and really kind of take charge in their lives. And I think one of the greatest outlets out there to do that through is fitness. And so ever since then, I've just been like so into it. Whenever I'm not researching drugs for pharmacy school, I am researching health and nutrition and physical exercise and basically everything behind it. So I definitely want to be able to take it in that type of direction in the future. But for now, I think I'm going to stick to motivation, because that's what I know best. I really do not believe in putting false information out. I know that it is rampant in today's society, especially with social media and non-legitimate news sources, that kind of thing. So I really don't want to put anything out there that I don't know for sure is 100% factual. Now, I have been able to build up a significant knowledge base on the subject, but I just want to make sure that I have a more concrete all-inclusive kind of knowledge base about all of the world of fitness before I put anything out there that is potentially not true. Because at the end, fitness is all about your body. It's all about your health and promoting the best natural outcomes you can with your body. And that's not necessarily, I'm not trying to say it's all on how you look or how strong you are, how fast you are. That's not true at all. It's how you feel day to day. It's how you feel about yourself. It's, your outward look on the world and just kind of your overall feeling of health. I think sometimes we get too hung up on the word, what is health? I think we need to just kind of take a step back and look at how do we feel, in every aspect of our life, spiritually, socially, physically. How do you feel? And I think we should always try to help ourselves feel as best as we possibly can. Now, so where I kind of started on my fitness journey was not in a very, fit place, if that makes sense. To kind of give some background, I have actually been overweight, obese pretty much my whole life, and it's something that I never really understood why. Just growing up, I mean, when you're younger, it's something that I feel like you can't really understand. And then going into high school, it was always something that was there. And I was always very active as a kid. I played 3 different sports up until high school. I did marching band in high school, which, if you have done marching band, you know that it is an active activity. And if you haven't, I would love, definitely try it out in any capacity if you can. Just even if you're trying to march around your backyard, constantly blowing out air. It is very physically taxing. But beyond that, I had my own lawn care business. So I did lawn mowing all summer season, pretty intense physical activity. We grew up on a farm, so I was constantly splitting wood, cutting hay, baling hay, that kind of work too. So I was always pretty active as a kid. I always felt like I was much more active than a lot of my friends, and so I never understood why am I so overweight. And so a lot of the time I just ended up chalking it up to bad genes, which is pretty much what an easy trap to fall into. And so it wasn't me trying to come up with excuses. It was just this is what I've been given in life. I don't have good genes. I'm not going to be a thin person, and I'm not going to let that stop me from my goals. Now, I don't disagree with that mindset, but I think what my mistake was is that I just assumed, after being overweight for so long, that there was absolutely no way to fix that. However, after this half marathon, I realized, wow, I really can do anything. If I can do this, I can do anything. There's nothing that's limiting me. And so I realized the next thing that I wanted to conquer was actually my weight and get myself back down to a healthy weight, just, to promote maximum health. And so I started doing tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of research. You hear about all the fad diets, and I've never been one to gravitate towards a fad diet. Just something that's that has to be that structured or that specific is never something that's agreed with me. Also, having a pretty intense scientific background, I know that a lot of the fad diets aren't always scientifically sound. That's not to trash on any of them, but they're just not always the most scientifically sound. So what I ended up finding, though, was talking about macro counting, what bodybuilders do, where they count all of the fats, proteins, and carbs they eat in a day, and how strictly they follow that, and how strictly they regulate that, and to get the perfect body design they want. And I thought, well, hey, this is something I've never really tried before. I knew about the process of calorie counting, but I'd never really thought about these are the only 3 sources you get energy from: carbs, proteins, fats. Track them, figure out how many you need in a day first, subtract that number by 500 calories, so you're losing roughly a pound a week, and then just make sure you hit those goals. And so I started doing that about the middle of October of 2017. So I've been on it for 4 or 5 months now. And I do it every day. I track all of my macros every day. I've gotten actually pretty good. I've got like a set kind of list of meals that I eat, and I can pretty much. I probably wouldn't even have to track it. I could probably just keep it all mentally, knowing like, oh, I ate these 3 meals today, so I know that I've had roughly this many calories, this much protein, this much fat, this much carbs. But I do still like track it. I've got an app on my phone. It's actually on iPhone. It's called Evolve. A lot of people use MyFitnessPal. I've also heard good things about it, but I really love Evolve because it allows you to like go in and modify your own personal macros without paying for the app. Also, it's just a lot more sleek, a lot more kind of like compact, and just more well designed, I think. I'm not a huge technologically savvy person, so anything that can be quick and easy for me to use is right up my alley. That's why I use all Apple products. But yeah, so ever since doing that, it has completely changed my outlook on being able to diet and being able to control your weight. And I think it's because it's such like a systematic scientific method. That's kind of how my brain works. So I think it's worked really well for me personally. Ever since October, I've lost now 35 pounds, and I've actually been able to put on quite a bit of muscle. I do lift 6 days a week. I also do 3 days of cardio a week, and I keep researching the best exact ways to do that. And so really kind of what I'm hoping for the future is I want to keep this cutting weight going on until about August of 2018. Around then, if I keep it roughly the same pace I've been going, which I've been trying to lose, like I say, I'm programmed for like about a pound and a half a week right now. I'm planning on that eventually going down to a pound a week, but I'm hoping to get down to like 190 or so by August. And then from there, I'm going to do kind of a maintenance period where I can really truly figure out, like, because we can calculate exactly how many calories you need in a day. And I'll do hopefully videos on all of this later explaining everything that I do. But just to keep it short right now, we can use calculators to calculate how many calories we need in a day based off of our age, male, female, height, and just kind of like your body fat percentage and your current weight. You can calculate how many calories your body needs in a day. So I'm kind of hoping to stay at like a maintenance period from August to October again, just to kind of make sure I know exactly where my body likes to be calorie-wise so that I don't lose any weight, so that I don't gain any weight. From there, I'm hoping that that whole time I'm going to train up and do the half marathon again. I want to do that at least one more time, just because it was such an awesome experience. And from there, I'm kind of hoping to start into maybe a little bit of a bulking phase, which is a phase where you try to put on muscle weight and very little fat weight. Now, obviously, the important part to it is that diet is key. It has absolutely blown my mind how diet can affect everything you do from a fitness standpoint, whether it's losing fat, whether it's building muscle. Diet will affect all of it. And keeping clean eating is such a huge important thing. I know it's not always easy, especially in today's world where it's so easy to just like grab fast food and, eat that. Tastes good, very cheap. Clean food, while I do definitely know from experience you can make it taste pretty darn good, it's not always as good as that cheeseburger you're going to get from McDonald's, and it's also not always as convenient or quite as cheap, but it is super important. It has really kind of changed everything for me, and like I say, I know this method may not necessarily be for everybody, but really kind of what I just advise to people is just find what works for you. There's a lot of diets out there. There's a lot of different ways to do things. Just find the one that works for you, the one that's going to be easy for you to stay on, easy for you to maintain. This one has been super easy for me to stay on and maintain because I can track everything that I do. I know exactly how much I eat in a day. I know what my progress is going to be. So even on those days where like my weight goes up or like I have planned cheat meals. Actually, I hate the word cheat meal. I don't like that. I have planned meals where I just kind of let myself eat. I don't want to say like whatever. I'm not going to sit down and like smash a whole pack of Oreos and a whole package of deep fried chicken, but I'll go out, I'll get something I wouldn't normally eat that I enjoy that tastes good to me, and it just kind of helps me stay on track and like allows me to not have like a binge session. So that's worked really well for me. I know it may not work for everybody, but just kind of this like systematic counting has been really nice for me. But yeah, that's kind of where I look to go forward with all of this. Like I say, I just wanted to give you guys kind of an update of where I was, like from a fitness standpoint, because I know that I am definitely not like the picture perfect version of fitness. I would never try to claim that at all, but I am definitely feeling better now than I ever have in my entire life, and I feel so much healthier now, and I just feel so much more confident and happy with myself, knowing that I'm moving in the right direction to help meet my goals. So if you guys want to leave some comments about like what your goals are, whether they're fitness related or not, they can be anything, and how you kind of hope to reach them. I'd love to hear about it. Like I said, I get so fired up about goals and passions and dreams and desires, and so I'd just love to hear about it. So please feel free to let me know about anything you guys want. If you have any questions for me about anything in my life, anything I talked about in this video, like I always say, I'm always open to constructive criticism, and I would love to hear anything you guys have for me. So I think with that, I'm going to end it. Always remember, guys, be positive, stay limitless, be impossible, and you can